This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, running into trouble. A boy collapses while jogging in gym class.
He falls flat on his face.
He was unconscious. He was not responsive at all.
He just looked dead.
1, 2, 3.
Plus, a paragliding accident leaves a man clinging on for dear life.
There was a chance that he couldn't hang on any longer.
While the cliff crumbles beneath him.
I knew that it was going to be a dangerous call.
On Rescue 911.
For the survivors of a tragedy, healing is a difficult and painful process. But sometimes the bonds forged throughout the journey can reaffirm the goodness in life for all of us. I'm William Shatner. Tonight on Rescue 911, true stories that remind us a single person can touch the lives of many others in ways we never imagined. We begin on the morning of October 29th, 1992, at Nyack Middle School in Nyack, New York, as the students in Al Pesner's PE class headed out to the playing field for a game of flag football.
It was second period, 8th grade class. When we reached the upper field, I directed the students to take their warm-up lap.
13-year-old Andre Gilbert and Nick Graziano were jogging together that morning.
Andre and I, we were good friends. I was jogging right beside him.
Keep working!
We were coming around a corner, and I asked him, I said, Andre, let's speed up. Let's catch up to the rest of the class. He just said, no, I don't want to speed up. He looked tired. He had a red face, sort of, almost like he was blushing, but a lot more. What's wrong? He falls flat on his face.
Andre! It appeared that somebody had tripped him. He just went almost head first into the ground.
Andre, come on, give me a sign here, buddy, you all right? Andre. Andre.
He was unconscious. He was not responsive at all.
Roger, would you please go get the nurse and tell her to come up to the field right away, please? Thank you. Andre.
I really didn't think it was a serious condition at first because in my career as an instructor, I've dealt with numerous different levels of seizure, and this just seemed to be a seizure situation.
Okay, Michael, you'll get the ball. The rest of you go ahead down. Be careful crossing, please. Andre.
And then all of a sudden, he stopped breathing.
Stop! Go down, tell the nurse we need an ambulance right away. Tell the office what's going on and get Mr. Boffa from my office. Go!
When he stopped breathing, my thoughts changed from a seizure to maybe an air blockage. A piece of candy that he might have had when he was doing his lap that somehow lodged into his throat.
Come on, Andre. Andre.
I thought I lost him.
Andre, come on.
I thought I might not see him again.
Andre.
He just looked dead.
Andre. Andre. Come on, Andre.
When we continue,
Panic started to set in. I'm not going to fool anybody. I was really scared. I'm looking at a 13-year-old boy, and he might not walk out of my class.
No, Paul! Andre, come on, breathe.
When I blew air into Andre, he went right on up. So I knew right away there was no blockage. But the response I got was frightening, because all I got was a tut, 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 which is the tongue flapping from the air coming back out. Panic started to set in. I'm not going to fool anybody. I was really scared. I'm looking at a 13-year-old boy, and he might not walk out of my class.
Andre!
So I decided I better check for a pulse. I couldn't find anything.
Andre.
Tried here.
Miss Richter, there's been an accident on the upper field.
He was just weakening, actually like melting. You could just feel his body getting limper and limper.
Come on, Andre. Come on.
You've got a couple of minutes to do whatever you have to do, and you better make the right decision because this kid's dependent on you.
Hurry up, there's no pulse!
PE teacher Tony Boffa and another teacher came to see if they could help.
Oh, he went down like a ton of bricks. He's not breathing.
Can't find his pulse.
Let's go CPR, Tony. You know what you got, right?
Al just kind of barked at me, "Tony, do you know what to do?" And I says, "Let's go with it."
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, watch it.
Andre regurgitated, which was a good sign, which meant his body was responding, and he started to breathe. Tony secured a pulse, and whew, what a relief. I still wasn't sure whether we had, how long we were going to have him here. Because in CPR, we were taught that, you could get him back for a while, and then they go right back out.
An ALS unit with Rockland Paramedic Services arrived, including paramedic Vincent Romano.
It took between 5 and 8 minutes for us to get there. That's long enough to cause irreversible brain damage.
Went down, and then he stopped breathing, and
People were pretty excited and a little bit emotional.
No.
I would say it was about 20 seconds after oxygen that Andre opened his eyes and looked very startled.
All right, Andre, way to go, buddy.
It was great.
Keep going.
It's, if you ever have your own children to be there for the birth, that's what it's like. It's just that wonderful.
He had a very erratic pulse. My partner and I hooked him up to an electrocardiogram and found that he had a fairly serious ventricular arrhythmia. It's an irregularity of the heartbeat to the point that it actually could cause unconsciousness or even death.
Andre Gilbert was diagnosed with a rare heart arrhythmia that can cause sudden death while exercising, for which he now takes medication. Andre is currently under the care of pediatric cardiologist Zvi Marans of Columbia Presbyterian Babies and Children's Hospital.
When he exercised that one time, his heart started to beat abnormally fast, so fast that the heart was not able to fill. Therefore, the heart was not able to pump the blood.
Andre, you know what we're doing now? We're doing the echocardiogram.
This is considered to be a very, very serious problem for him. Therefore, he is not allowed to engage in any sports activities.
Or can you give me that,
Andre's mother, Josette Gilbert, is trying to help her son adjust to the changes in his life.
He was very depressed at first. He's a kid that gets on his bike in the morning and doesn't get off of it until night. But I think now he's learned to adjust a little bit.
I can't ride my bike. I can't play basketball. I can't go to karate. And those are like the favorite things that I like to do.
Good girl.
I want to do it,
Good girl.
but it's like I try to listen to what the doctor says and I don't go doing what I want.
Not even a week after the incident happened, I think Andre was still in the hospital. I went up to thank Mr. Pesner and Mr. Baffa. It was very emotional. I really didn't know how to thank him.
Andre is important to me now. I feel that I'm a part of him and he's a part of me. The lesson, it can happen to anybody at any time, and to be prepared for it. To think that if I didn't know CPR, he wouldn't have made it. There's no question in my mind. He was fading fast. He's my assistant now. In our softball unit, he's our umpire. And I think it's important for Andre to realize that there are other aspects he is capable of fulfilling in athletics, even with his limitations.
I'm really grateful for what Mr. Pesner did for me. We're like brothers. When I see Mr. Pesner, it's like, there goes the coolest guy I know.
Next.
He had not been obeying what we call the rules of the road. If you turn suddenly in front of somebody, it's the same as doing that on a freeway. You could have a collision. The rising air currents along the 300-foot cliffs of Torrey Pines, California, have made it a world-famous destination for those who enjoy hang gliding and paragliding. Bill Bennett, operator of the local glider port, was responsible for making sure that despite the potential danger there, the skies remained a safe place for everyone. Most of the rescue footage in this story was taped as the events unfolded on June 29th, 1993. It's like people want to go to Mecca. People want to come to Torrey Pines to fly.
here, it's absolutely necessary to fly with the most advanced rating that you can have.
Licensed paraglider Erich Helwig had traveled more than 7,000 miles from his home in Germany with his wife, Edda Wolf, to practice the sport in new terrain.
I told him our usual practice was to see him go out and make a flight, whereupon I would assess if he had the required skill level. Just because a person has a driver's license doesn't mean he's going to get on the freeway and become the safest driver. His launching skills weren't exactly as I would like to have seen them to be. However, this is not uncommon with European pilots who have a different technique of launching than we do here on the coastal cliff, because they have nice, steep, grassy slopes to launch from.
Erich Paragliding liebt.
Erich loves paragliding. But I had a weird feeling because I could not imagine how it could work there.
When he did get into the air, he more or less took possession of the ridge and had not been obeying what we call the rules of the road. And that is to say, if you turn suddenly in front of somebody, it's the same as doing that on a freeway, and you could have a collision. Either he didn't understand the rules, he didn't want to obey the rules, or simply didn't get the communication when he read the rules. When he came back from landing, I spoke to him and explained that he had a couple of problems. I told him he should go away and fly somewhere else until such time as his skills were consistent with that which was required at Torrey Pines.
On the beach below, Matt Brown had been spending the morning surfing.
I was watching some of the hang gliders and the parasailers going in and out of the cliffs. One in particular was getting really close to the cliffs and coming in and out of the spines. I couldn't really figure out what he was doing because I'd never seen anyone get that close. When I saw him hit, I was like, what? I was down there, oh my God, what is this guy doing? And he just goes, bam, and he smashed right in. I freaked him out, what do I do, you know? And like, just like stunned.
A sunbather flagged down lifeguard Chappie Maiko.
100 yards down. Thank you.
I pictured in my mind what these cliffs were like that he was telling me, and they're sheer, unstable cliffs, and I figured no one could be stuck up there because they're so steep, you know, so sheer.
San Diego City lifeguards, who are specially trained in cliff rescue, were called in, led by Sergeant Margaret Rigby.
Because the cliffs are so unstable in this area, I knew that it was going to be a dangerous call.
He was barely holding on. My main concern was the cliffs actually crumbling from underneath them.
Upon finding out that it was the German pilot who had in fact got into trouble, it occurred to me that he hadn't totally understood what I was trying to tell him. I need you to come over here, please.
Bill went to tell Edda what had happened.
There's a problem with your husband. What? So,
Im Moment, wo ich das
The moment I heard that, it was as if a big bracket had been placed around my heart. And I thought that that's not possible.
Yeah. When I first saw him, I thought that he was going to fall before we got to him. The victim was about 150 feet below the top of the cliff. So we were worried that a helicopter, any kind of disturbance, could have made the cliff fall on our victim.
White's going to be the haul line.
Because the victim was not visible from directly above, Lieutenant Ken Hewitt went to a high point up the beach from where he could help guide the rescuers.
I could tell by his mannerisms that he was getting tired. There was a chance that he couldn't hang on any longer. And my immediate fear was we would get within arm's reach and the cliffside would fall away and this individual would be lost over the side.
At that moment, I have to honestly say I thought he would never be rescued. My first thought was, now you have to fly home alone.
Okay, you're in, you're secure.
Lifeguard Dave Calder strapped on a rescue harness while the others readied the lines as quickly as possible. Erich had already been holding onto the cliff for more than 45 minutes.
Kelly, is that good?
You work with such an adrenaline rush that you don't realize how unsafe the area was. But we were concerned that we might cause an avalanche or that the cliff was going to fall before Dave got to the victim.
31 Sam.
I had radio contact with Lieutenant Hewitt, and I had to rely on him to tell the rescuers at the top of the cliff what was going on.
We have him move a little bit south. As he's descending, he's dropping debris on top of the victim.
I was thinking, how much longer can this guy hold on? At any moment, he could just lose his grip and he would be gone, fall to his death. When Dave got to the victim and he was connected to the safety harness, we were a little bit at ease, but we still realized that that was only half the rescue. We still needed to get to the bottom of the cliff. It was a very intense moment. We couldn't see what was going on below the cliff, but we felt tugs on the line and we weren't sure what was going on.
As I lost sight of them over the cliffside as they descended to the beach, our land unit that was on the beach radioed to me saying that they were safely down.
It was such a rewarding feeling that it was a successful rescue and we had all worked together as a team. All the experience and training had paid off.
At the end, when I was hanging there, when I realized that I was losing my strength, I didn't have any hope anymore that anything would happen. I thought, it's over.
Thank you. You're welcome, no problem. Good job.
It is really hard to believe what kind of a feeling it can be to stand with both feet on the ground again.
For lifeguard Dave Calder, it was a rescue he'll never forget.
I was wondering how he could hold on for so long. He had been holding onto the cliff for probably about an hour and 20 minutes, and I thought it could be any time where he couldn't hold on any longer or the cliff would give way and he would fall. It was the most difficult rescue I've ever been a part of. I think the best advice I can give to anybody that's interested in hang gliding or paragliding is, number one, maybe think about not doing it. And number two, definitely go through all the required training so you can avoid any possible problems or an accident.
Back home in Düsseldorf, Germany, Erich and Edda have a lot to be thankful for.
die solche Menschen, oder wie gesagt, das Leben anderer Menschen retten.
Those people who rescue others
Selbst ihr Leben
and risk their own lives during such operations.
Also ich finde sie,
I can't even express it. These people are fantastic.
Dank an die Leute von der
I
Lifeguard.
have to thank the people from the lifeguard, and I would like to do that. I am deeply grateful to these people. Therefore, I would like to say a very special thank you to the people from the lifeguard.
wenn Erich wirklich gestorben wäre.
If Erich had really died, if Erich hadn't made it down again alive, I really would have missed everything about him. I believe that Erich is very lucky because he has me.
Step out of the car, please.